This is promotion for the Patreon. Probably the greatest Patreon episode I've ever seen from this show. This is a couple of months ago, and they're going to watch Donnie Brasco. So it's Sara and John. John has said so many times that Donnie Brasco is probably his favorite movie. So unfortunately, on this day, one of these two people is not that interested in watching this movie. So here we are.
Oh God!
We're in the Patreon episode now, and this is a shot that John loves. If you look here, and you can see that that's Depp in the left there in the phone booth talking to his wife, and he's an undercover FBI agent, so he can only call the broad. And John says something really, really sweet.
Deep.
I want everyone to listen to her response to show what kind of mood this girl is in.
God, I love that shot. That'd be a good painting for you to do.
I'm going to be here for 5 hours. I could probably start one.
The funny thing about that comment alone is that if you look here, she's absolutely correct. This show goes for 5 hours and 18 minutes. And the thing I think in her defense is that she thought that David and I would probably be on the episode. So when she turned up, she said, okay, where are the guys? And John said, well, they're not going to make it. But anyway, we'll go for it. And then she went, oh, no. She thought she could maybe sneak away every now and then during it, and we would just, because we would have just been going on and on. So now she knows she's stuck.
Right.
With a guy who loves this movie so much that she has to be there and she has to respond to him, and she's not happy about that. So what we go into now is Depp was the character Joe, who's undercover, is popping home every now and then, very late at night. The kids are in bed. John gets fascinated about this, what Depp is holding here, and it's Jif peanut butter, right, John? Yes. And watch what you do to Sarah's brain by commenting on this.
Because you don't tell me, remember?
That's right, because it's for your own protection.
Jif peanut butter, right?
And we have closed captions here as well, because you might miss a little. You might miss a little of things that are said here.
They still make Jif.
As if any of this is for me.
Hey.
Yes, John, they do.
You're getting the checks, right?
Yeah, I'm getting the checks.
Hey, can the sarcasm?
Don't say it like it's nothing, because it's not nothing.
That's a rare kind of outburst from John, because long-time fans of John are going to know that it takes excessive amounts of pushing to get John angry, like to blow up. For John to get that annoyed shows that she's really pushing his buttons, because this is his favorite movie. If we were doing this for
this
Heat,
is sacrosanct. This is sacrosanct.
I know, like my favorite movie is Heat, and if we were doing this in Heat and she was throwing this at me, I'd be like, listen, sweetheart, I ain't having none of that. All right. So it's getting more and more tense. This is halfway or so through the movie, and things are going so well that they send the FBI boss. And Depp doesn't like him, doesn't want to have anything to do anything, but this is what happens here.
I ain't going to vouch for nobody I don't know.
The song playing in the background is a song called Brook.
Now, John remembers the song.
Yeah.
Of all things in this scene, you can hear this faint sound in the background on the radio, and he's really pushing.
By Robbie Dupree. Do you remember that song, Steal Away?
No.
Remember that song? Why don't you steal away? Why don't we steal away into the night? You don't know that song?
No, I don't.
Come on, that's Mom.
Can we watch a movie?
Come on, that's Mom.
I was hoping that we get
Sarah. Gee, I was hoping we could comment on this. Our job is to comment on this, not watch it.
What's amazing about that, because I am a huge fan of this movie, is that John does a little maneuver there, and he rolled in the line that this FBI agent actually said there. So here's what he says, and then we're going to hear John winding in part of the script into his argument with Sara.
Gee, I was hoping that we get off on the right foot here.
Now let's go wind back to what John said.
Come on, that's Mom.
Gee, I was hoping that we get
Sarah. Gee, I was hoping we could comment on this. Our job is to comment on this, not watch it.
That's classic. John, you realize you did that.
There was one time I spent an entire day, and my friend dared me, could I just have nothing but 21 Jump Street dialogue conversations with everybody. And I did it.
Imagine if you had a dictaphone on you recording that whole day.
1999.
While John's under fire, he's under deep, serious fire from Sarah. He still does some classic maneuvers.
Let me apologize. I have a cat to take care of real quick. Be right back.
That's fine. I get it.
You nailed that drop, John, and you've given me so many compliments this year on my drops.
Yeah.
And you got that so fast that I'm having to go to this. And that's right. We're going to the stopwatch.
Let me apologize. I have a cat to take care of real quick. Be right back.
That's fine. I get it.
Look at that. John, that's 1 second. We'll say 1 second. So I'm really proud of you.
There he is.
This
Big
is
vomit.
what sent this Paul Giamatti into the stratosphere for some reason. He really went up from this film.
Look how young he looks.
Forget about it. He does the classic line there. For some reason, this reminds John of this memory of this piece of information that he
Which is
has
good.
to
I know what you're going to say. This is good information. This is really good information.
He has to tell Sarah in long form, and then she's almost cooked.
Sarah,
so
you
have a
knew that
listen.
Paul Giamatti is Pete Rose nemesis, Major League Baseball Commissioner Bart Giamatti's son, right?
No, I did not.
Yeah, the Major League Baseball Commissioner was his dad, Bart Giamatti. And that was,
Can I make a comment
Just listen to what she hits him with now.
about you?
Yeah.
You are the biggest dork.
How can I be a dork
You're such a dork.
and be such a great athlete and such a cool guy? Why am I a dork? Because I know that Paul Giamatti's father is Bart Giamatti, Major League Baseball Commissioner.
Dork.
Pete Rose. And that's why. I mean, don't I qualify for doing this? And this is why we do this.
I want to know what you did in your childhood, because there wasn't enough time to go outside. You're just like reading things constantly.
How did I become such a great distance runner and basketball player? That was the only time I went out, was to do that.
It's like you buy almanacs and read them cover to cover.
Yeah, there was. I'm a very depressed person, and I spent a lot of time in my own head.
You went to the depression card, and you know what I love about that is, because I suffer from that same thing as well, is that at this point, when she's just owned you so bad, I would be saying, yes, go to the depression, any port in a storm.
Yeah.
And that's when you go to the depression.
You ever see the Human Torch and the Fantastic Four? The supernova blast. The Human Torch from the Fantastic Four. Right. Thank you, Buck Johnson. He has something called the supernova blast. And so when it all goes wrong and like supervillains are piling on him, he blows himself up. He literally blows himself up.
Any port in a storm, you're throwing everything at her, your fitness, your exercise regime, all of this stuff to try and win. And she's so, this is why I'm tributing her right now. Yeah. She's so vicious, Chauncey. This is what I'm saying. This girl could have been on Stern coming in and arguing, because she never loses her cool in an argument. No. She just keeps firing. Look at this. She's hurting him so much.
She finds her Achilles
It's like this. It's like this.
I know this hurts.
Right? That's what she's doing. Here's another shot of John.
Oh my God.
That's John. And for everyone who loves this show, you know I had to do this.
Only you would ask me if I knew Paul Giamatti's stepdad on his mother's side, twice removed.
Well, it's because it's Pete Rose who just died, and he was his nemesis, and banned him from baseball and the Hall of Fame and stuff. It was a really big deal at the time, and I hadn't heard that name Giamatti until Paul Giamatti came along. I'm like, that's Bart Giamatti's son. And in all fairness, this is what you do when you do a Blu-ray commentary. That's the shit you throw out. That's what you're supposed to do.
I know, of course.
Bon, you got to realize I have to preserve my integrity while keeping her on the show at the same time, and that's not an easy rope.
It was brutal, but
yeah,
that was my tribute to Sarah.
Sara is is going to have to become a rapist.
Match the gas tank. Boom, boom.
We're gonna have a good old-fashioned hang.
Anyway, this girl Sara has the most amazing body.
Good theory, Dr. Sarah.
How you doing?
There's Sara.
Sarah. Sissy, you pause.
Dr. Katz's office.
Sarah.
I'm gonna burn you.
Oh my god.
That was great. So
That's
that was
terrifying.
the red